Hey Chris, doing your check-in, buddy. Hit a new low. That's freaking great. I knew we needed a diet break, and I wanted to know, like, do you feel a lot more energy efficient? Do you feel better with adding more food in? I would assume so, but it's always awesome to see when we go to throw food back in and then you drop weight. A proponent of that could because you feel better. You know, sleep gets better, energy gets a lot better. It's kind of one of those subconscious things where we throw food back into the diet and then you're more active throughout the day, which allows you to just burn off more fat because you have more energy supply. Another thing I'm doing because I just bought a new camera is printing out two. One of them's for the tripod, so I could set this up on the tripod at the gym, and then the other one is a GoPro mount, so I could get some cooler angles in the STI or vehicles, whatever I'm doing.
I'm sending them straight to meet the nigga that made them beat the reaper, creeping on you. The sin of failure, reeking on you. Check your genitalia, pussy.
Let's go picture.
Where are we going?
Let's go picture.
A picture?
Okay,
But I'm recording.
look.
What?
It's a plot G.
That's a big tree, huh?
It's a big G.
It's a big tree. I don't even want to make this about being a father, but more so just about being a parent and trying to do things that you still want to achieve in your life while still maintaining responsibility and a healthy lifestyle for family balance and, you know, figuring out stuff that's long term. I'm very, very, very big on long term future plans, financial wise, planning wise, you know, like, hey, I want to take the kids to Disney World. And that's like a year and a half planning in advance, smaller things like that. Focusing on being whatever age you may be in your 20s, I'm 34, and still trying to take advantage of the youth that I have, the energy that I have, having a 3 and 4 year old, and balancing marriage with everything on top of that can be very difficult. But I hope I could shed some light on what I'm able to do, trying to compete in the most selfish sport to ever exist, which is bodybuilding, and also just trying to be a great father and a great husband, which can be very difficult. And I will say right now, I'm experiencing the trenches of everything because I'm having severe diet fatigue. And on the bodybuilding aspect, I'm starving myself. Like I'm at 1,600 calories a day, doing an hour of cardio. And that in it of itself is a lot for somebody to handle on their own, let alone, hey, I got to time management. You know, I got to wake up, make breakfast for the kids, get laundry done, cook, prep my food, make sure the kids have food, pack their lunch, drop them off at school, go to the gym, execute my time, maximize my time there, come home, eat. Okay, now it's time to pick up the kids from school, and still essentially trying to run a business on top of that. And I would say the worst part, the things I struggle with the most and the worst part is just creating content, doing stuff like this. I'm trying to get more comfortable with just filming and not like, even last month I was having a hard time because I just wanted the house to be quiet. I didn't want the kids around, and not in a bad way, just have a little bit of silence. That way I could execute some content. But I got to understand that that's just not my life. And to be more open about it, I think, is more inviting to people, and to see the reality of stuff is something that I'm going to continuously work on, and not be so self-conscious about that. I would say if I could give any advice to people, it's time management. Like everything that's going to happen tomorrow, I pretty much already have it planned out. Should you plan for hiccups? Absolutely. Like in July, when Hurricane Beryl hit, we had to up and get out of Houston because we went without power for 10 days. And I wasn't going to let my kids, go without power, especially air conditioning in Houston, for that long. So luckily I have an awesome wife, and she took the kids up to Austin, got an Airbnb for just 5 days. And then I stayed here for a little bit, packed all the food I could, prepped all the food I could, and then went up there. And so it's about taking care of the kids first, and then comes the bodybuilding, which is essentially how it should be, to be honest. Bodybuilding is never going to be the number one priority. It's always going to be these guys. And it has taken, I will say, don't be, if you are fearful of doing something like that, and it doesn't need to be bodybuilding. It could be progressing in anything that you want to do, new job. I'm also still in university. I got class tonight that I got to go to. That's a whole nother thing that I don't even really talk about, with furthering and expanding my knowledge base. But those are long-term plans that I want to fulfill, So it's one of those things where time management is extremely essential for what you're going to do. Again, it doesn't matter what you're going to do as long as you prioritize your time correctly. And one thing I will say that I never do, people may be like, you're no fun or something like that, but I would say my downtime is hanging out with them. And then I'd use my free time to create content, really, or just do stuff, work around the house. Like I got stuff on the vehicles I got to do. One of those things where I'm not playing video games. Like I got tons of buddies who, are dads, and they are just brain dead playing video games. And that's one thing that I'll never do. I'm not saying that it's bad. That could be your downtime, and totally go for that, but it's just not something that I do. And I try to get the most done around the house also, so my wife doesn't have to. That's a whole nother aspect of, I would say, being a really great husband and a leader of the household. Is I do the dishes, I do the laundry. When I have the time, I do it, so my wife doesn't have to do it. That way it frees up her time, and it frees up our time late at night, so we could have fun and hang out, and it's not this bickering back and forth. It's almost like we're trying to execute tasks before the other one has to do it, and that's kind of like our sign of a healthy marriage, I guess you would say. And we really don't ever argue, because we're always doing stuff like that, always trying to keep the house clean, do things for each other. So there's never this, well, you're not doing this or you're not doing this, because we're both taking care of everything, really. But don't ever be, I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't be afraid, if you have kids, to do what you want to do.
It's not
What is
deer.
that? That's a deer. As long as you have really good time management, as long as you prioritize tasks that you're trying to do. And I would say if you have passion for something, like I have a passion for bodybuilding. It's really stupid in my own, like even when I think about it, if I take a step back, I just think about, why did I choose this thing? But it almost like chose me, really. And I mean, I did bodybuilding before I even went into college and became a nutritional scientist. It's one of those things where it changed my life, even from an educational standpoint. And to start a business and to be able to profit and have a successful business from that. So I feel like I owe a lot to bodybuilding, and I really enjoy the sport and everything it has to offer. And giving a huge part of myself is something that I'm really passionate about, even through the trenches of suffering in which I'm doing right now. Being able to prioritize your time, task management, and as long as you have the passion for whatever that you're trying to do, it should set you up on a really positive, efficient scale to do the things that you need to do. Because I always say you shouldn't need motivation to do things. Like if you want to lose weight, right? Blanket statement. If you want to lose weight, you shouldn't need motivation to do that. In the beginning, maybe. I think there's a huge element that I try to tell my clients. It's about momentum. I think people really don't understand momentum. It's like, hey, I really want to lose weight. And then when you initially start and you lose that weight, hey, I lost 2 pounds this week. This is really good. I always say ride that momentum. That's what's going to fulfill you long term, is the momentum. You shouldn't need motivation to do something that you really truly want to do in your life. So ride the momentum of whatever it is you're trying to do, and that should fulfill that long-term execution that you're trying to achieve. One thing I do need to do is switch out the headlights on the Tundra. So we got to wait for my wife to come back home because she took my daughter to speech therapy. So luckily I'm going to eat right now, and then whenever she comes back, we're going to switch that around. We're going to switch vehicles around. That way I could work on it. And I'm exhausted from I trained my quads. Even though, like I said, I pulled back, we're doing a lot of fatigue management, and we pulled back on training. So we're doing a lot of 2 to 3 RIRs, reps and reserved. So training has actually felt really good the past few weeks, besides starving, which is just, I know I keep reiterating, but it sucks. And so doing things like this actually helps me a lot. Having the kids helps me a lot, keeps me busy, keeps my mind off of food. Like I've prepped way before we had kids when I first started bodybuilding, and sometimes I could actually say it felt a little bit more miserable. And just because I was bored, and then I would stand in the kitchen and just like look for pantry food and stuff like that. And now I keep myself so busy, and I kind of like plan things out, so to speak. So like last week, Andrea wanted a new exhaust. So we put on a new Flowmaster 10 series exhaust on her Tundra, did that, got the rotors and brakes swapped out also because of the show. We're going to do San Antonio, and then 2 weeks later, we're going to go to San Marcos. And then November, we have family flying in for Thanksgiving, and we're going to be doing a lot of traveling vehicle wise. So I needed to get all that stuff updated anyways. And so it keeps myself busy, and then her headlights just are horrendous. So it was time to swap those out. So doing small things like that where I could plan it out each week. Like last week we did the exhaust, and then this week I get to take apart the whole front end and just switch out the light bulbs. Those things keep me really busy to where I'm like, oh crap, I need to go eat, right? So I'm not just sitting there self-absorbed, like, what am I going to eat now? I'm starving and stuff like that. It's completely different. So having a bunch of tasks, I would say, to keep me busy. And then also having the kids helps me out a lot, just keeping me busy and not focused and thinking about food so much. Now, I'm going to attempt to replace these bulbs. But in order to do it, I have to take the whole grill out. And then, dude, I have no idea about this push grill. I should be able to take this, I should be able to take the whole housing unit out. And I don't know why Toyota did this, where you can't really, let me see if I can. You can't really access the bulb to take the whole bulb out because there's a huge gasket in there, but I'm gonna do my best. All right, it's a little bit darker out, so we can see how bright. Oh yeah, damn, dude, I feel like I should have raised them up. I mean, the driveway's angled up a little bit. It's way better than it was before. I still feel like they're kind of low though. That looks way better though, to be honest. I mean, just the white lights, because previously they were like the amber stock bulbs. So it's a lot better. It's the next day. I just got back from the gym. I did a full chest workout. I thought I would throw up some posing for you guys and go over a lot of the things that I need to fix when it comes to how horrendous my posing is. When I am doing, I didn't show it in this video, but when I am doing my quarter turns, I notice, and I think it's from my years of doing men's physique, is how much I lean on my right leg so much. So I favor my right leg a lot, which it's making me not activate that quad a lot more, which is causing me a lot of issues with posing. My back's getting a lot better, striations, hamstrings, glutes, everything's a lot better. Yesterday, I woke up at my lowest weight so far in, I don't know how many years. It's been my lowest weight at 196.8. And our goal was 190 pounds. So I'm only 6 pounds away right now, which is really good. And we're having to dig deep. Like I just finished an hour of cardio, and the gym was extremely, like, we're getting hit with another heat wave in Houston. So the gym was 95 degrees and I'm just totally beat after that. I have been going to another gym fitness project that's air conditioning, which doesn't make me feel so beat down from doing an hour of cardio. Overall, just getting 10,000 steps in a day, but really trying to dial in my posing, just letting the cardio and the diet do a lot of the work. And it's starting to get weird seeing my face get sucked down, or cheekbones coming in. I wish it was a little bit more. You ever get that death face and then wish, I wish I had like more skeleton face a little bit. I just wish I had a little bit more. Like, if you ever see Chris Bumstead when he's a few weeks out and then he's got his cheekbones are popping out, that's probably what, I probably won't get there till like 2 weeks out of his show. I'm going to end the video here, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll be uploading another video next week. And until the next video, I'll see you guys in the next one.